Shanii22 here.
Yes. Shanii22 in the building. Music Nova Scotia in the building. Nova Scotia Music Week 2022. We're with my boy Trips right here. Say what's up.
What's up? Hope everyone's doing well.
Yup.
Showcase tonight?
Yes, sir. Showcasing tonight, 9 p.m., November 3rd at the Holiday Inn, the Mariner Ballroom, bro. It's going to be big vibes. I got hella unreleased stuff coming out, coming to play tonight. So it's gonna be dope. Experimental too, so I'm excited for that.
What when you say experimental, you got anybody surprise coming up on stage with you?
It's a solo thing. It's a solo thing. I might be jumping on somebody's set. You know what I mean? Cool. One of the homies. But yeah, tonight's a solo thing. I'm releasing an album November 11th, so you're gonna hear a little bit of that and some singles I haven't released either. So should be fun.
Sweet. And November 11th, where can people get that?
November 11th. It's called HERmixtape by Shanii22. Everywhere you stream HERmixtape, check it out, man. It's got classified as one of the producers on one of the tracks, so that hey, we're in.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, anybody out there listening from the hotel, be sure to get some supper into you now so you can go out and catch that show for sure.
9 p.m.
And for anybody that doesn't happen to be here on site for the weekend, any other upcoming shows up in Halifax or anywhere around?
Yeah, actually. So December 10th, we're performing at Hopscotch.
Awesome.
And they got JPEG Mafia coming in, which is crazy act. Gonna be opening up for that, and so check it out. Come out. It's gonna be fun. It's at the Lighthouse Art Center, the new center downtown. So
awesome. I've been hearing a lot of great things about it.
Oh, that stage is beautiful, and it's run by Ryan Veltmeyer. So he knows his stuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I just met him about 20 minutes ago down the hall here, actually. So.
Yeah,
it's
cool
a small world. We got everybody all crammed into one building. It's pretty
1,000%,
pretty easy. And what's Trip? What do you do?
Trips to let them know.
So I deal with more of the management side stuff, the business side stuff, and I also produce some of Shani's stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. And so if you're managing and producing, if there's any aspiring people around the building, should they be looking for your face? Or Shani's got you pretty run ragged there, I imagine.
Oh, definitely come check in with me, man. I mean, people who know me around like the community already know that if I think your music's dope, like I'm supporting you to the max, like.
Awesome.
But yeah, when it comes to like the management stuff, I'm obviously not really looking to take on any more work. There's already more than I can handle. But people who mess with me, like I don't like come chop it up. Like if I fuck with your stuff, like I'm not gonna hold back from helping you in any way I can.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we actually just started an entertainment company called Deep Fried Entertainment, both of us and a third partner. And so I mean, if you are an artist that you feel like you're polished, we're bringing in a lot of headliners, so we'd love to hear your stuff and see if you fit on the bill, and we'd love to make it happen, bro. We want to support local as much as we can, because a lot of people supported me coming up, and so I want to give back to the community like that,
Awesome. And it's obviously just the first day of a long weekend of many things going on. So is there anything that you guys are looking forward to this weekend, or maybe any other shows you're planning on catching besides your own set?
Oh man, like there's too many good shows happening, which I hate to like miss someone because I'm checking someone out, but that's just the way life works, at these festivals and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to check out everybody kind of in the scene that I know, like Johan, Nicole Ariana's playing. Got a bunch of homies playing. Some bands had to pull out, unfortunately. Sleepy Kicks is one of them, and I was like, damn, like, because I love watching rock bands too. Slois, I'm checking them out. Pillow Fight, another great band. I just love, I wouldn't want to even call it networking. I just love to just go out and just see who kind of reciprocates the same energy I give. You know what I mean? Because I love to just chop it up with people, and if I'm finding that you're someone that's like kind of like low energy, you don't care, I'm not really gonna waste your time because I know you probably don't want to talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Whereas if people are down to become homies and become friends, we're here, baby. We're chilling. You know what I mean?
And a couple of the names that you mentioned in the list there too, I'm aware that you were one of the openers at Nicole's album release there.
Yeah.
Just not that long,
like
3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, Nicole Ariana dropped her album Cry Baby, which is honestly like beautiful. I listened to that album like twice, head to toe. And just like her vocals and seeing it live is something completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had heard it live last year, that one song.
Yeah,
and I was waiting for the album, so it's somebody I definitely want to
check
catch
it
while
out.
I'm up here this weekend too, for sure.
Definitely.
And I am a little curious, just to, as long as you guys get a few more minutes to hang around here too. I had met you just very briefly last year in a similar kind of situation. We were all in passing.
We planned to chop it up, but never really got the chance to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, just after that, you were gone off to a tour in the Middle East.
Yes, so I went.
How'd that go?
I went to back home to Kuwait. I got booked for a show there. Which was super refreshing because I was like, damn, like, so I started making like English Arabic fusion hip hop. And so to hear it get picked up out there, that was a blessing. We then moved on and did a couple of shows. I mean, I did like around 8 shows in the UK. So that was, fun. Came back, chopped it up here in Toronto and Montreal. So, it's dope to go to these places as an artist and not just as someone visiting. Because then it's like, oh, shit, like this music thing is actually picking up, so that was a blessing, bro.
Absolutely. And I know with the networking, myself being someone that's obviously here doing some of that myself, you're a name that everyone already knows who you are here.
Hey, I appreciate that, bro.
Everyone that I've run into through the podcast in the last year, if your name happened to come up or I'm talking about stuff related in your orbit, everybody already knows who you are. And that same energy thing, you give off really good, positive, upbeat vibes. And it seems like, I think everyone I talk to is just saying, oh, yeah, man, Johnny's great. Like, it's
love, bro.
It's just cool to see that it's consistent. Because, I mean, even the best guys out there walking around the hall, there's somebody that doesn't like them. But I haven't heard anyone that was not 100% impressed.
If they do not like me, they haven't said it to my face, so I don't even, consider that. But everybody, I show you love regardless. Like, even if you're like the best artist in the world or, the worst kind of art. I wouldn't even say worst artist. I would say like even on the lower end of the spectrum where people don't really take you seriously, I like throw all of that shit out of the window because at the end of the day, we're all human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we treat each other with respect, that's what the world's about.
And with the album and couple shows coming out, you've had exposure, as we just said, like in different places, not just in the country, but around the world. So do you have any plans and taking off again, or are you going to stick around for a bit and let us enjoy you playing?
So I'm actually leaving back home. I'm working on some videos, some music, some collaborations back in the Middle East over the next few months. But then when I'm back, I think I'm gonna stick around for a while. I like Halifax in the way that it like gives you the freedom to create. And especially in the winter time where you're more kind of like stuck in the room type shit, and you can create and start like recording yourself and creating these demos. I actually like to be in Halifax because taking a walk downtown, you can actually separate yourself from like walking downtown, let's say Toronto, and there's like even more people than you even want to be around, you know, whereas in Halifax, super chill, a great city to be in, like as far as being an artist goes.
Yeah, I actually had a similar experience just being here in Sydney, even where I was, like I told you just before we started, I've been up since early this morning, drove up and just been bang, bang, bang all day. And I just stepped out here in Sydney. First time been in this city.
Yeah, me too.
And it's so chill as soon as everyone's got the small town community friendliness. If you're out in any of the local shops,
Definitely.
like they're just immediate. They're like, "Oh, you must be here with the big festival."
Right.
And they're even my lanyard's getting me treated like a celebrity at some of the local places. So
yeah, man, they like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that about the Maritimes in general. You don't get a stuck up feeling from people.
No. If they don't know who you are, you're getting at least a courteous respect. And you don't have 1,000%. To earn respect around here. You have to keep it. You can lose respect.
Facts.
You can definitely lose respect.
Yeah, you could lose respect pretty quick if you're moving on some bullshit. But yeah, for the most part, I find the interesting thing is like nobody really has to be nice. You know what I mean? But it's just people choose to be nice here, and then. Like they open the doors for me and I open the doors for them, and you know what I mean? And like conversations wise, whereas like back home, like if you approach someone that you don't know, it's usually like on site. You know what I mean? It's usually like, no, like what do you want? You know? So it's definitely refreshing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm curious too then with just to continue what you're saying there,
right?
As far as the difference here. Out of the different places that you've been, which has been out of the other communities, you don't have to say anything bad about some of the communities, but out of all of them, what has been the most receptive that you've had? Because you have exposure in the different regions in different ways. Obviously, locally, you've interacted with people and they know who you are. So it's easy to get, especially at a place like this, if you're going around with that attitude, people are like, yeah, you know what? I should catch a show. It's just over there. 100%. I'm going to go catch it out. And then once they see it, I'm sure they're going to come keep seeing you. But outside of East Coast, when you're exploring around, how are they receptive to somebody that they maybe didn't know before you showed up?
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of break it down to like big city versus small city. So I usually prefer small city energy better than big city energy just because like, the crowd is a lot more appreciative of what you're doing, and like it's more tight knit, and everybody wants to show love and support. Even when I was in the UK, like the smaller communities, like I played in London and I played in Brighton, and Brighton is a smaller place. It's more like Halifax vibes, and I had a lot more fun, playing in Brighton because people are just like wild and they just want to see more. You know what I mean? As far as like the regions, though, I find like Canada's kind of lacking in terms of like. Really showing artists the respect that they deserve, and really seeing sort of the magic of the music or of the artwork that they're putting out. Whereas like in the UK, let's say, I would come on stage and like start rapping in Arabic, and there would be people in the front row that have no idea what I'm saying, but they're just so into it because they're like, dude, this is so different. Like, what is this? And they want to find out. Versus like I find like in Halifax, let's say, if it's not like a bigger name that they're familiar with and they don't feel comfortable enough to like kind of take the risk and see you perform, you know what I mean? That's the biggest difference.
I did that's just on a personal anecdote. On the drive up, my companion drive, we were listening to the actual Music Nova Scotia playlist that had the whole mix for this weekend, and I was saying it's funny because. In a mixed company, I find a lot of people, if you just play local music, you get a good like 20, 30 minutes before they're like, I like music I know. Can you play something I know? And that's what we're saying is like, well, how would you know it if you didn't finish listening to this playlist? Maybe you'll like some of these songs.
Big time.
So that's another thing for any of our listeners and viewers that are at home this weekend. Check these guys online. Like everybody's online.
Everybody is online.
It's what is it? NSW.ca. Nova Scotia Music Week. NSMW.ca has links and profiles for every one of these artists.
I can guarantee you're gonna find somebody you like. Even with Deep Fried, we try and like combat that like stigma of like not. Kind of selling these shows that are like more locally focused, and we do bring headlines from outside and stuff like that. But like really, the local focus is there. Do you want to like kind of expand on that a little?
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for the longest time, like hip hop hasn't really seen the appreciation out here, even though that's more so what the current demographic wants. And in my opinion, they're just not used to it yet. Like, most people in Halifax are used to going to maybe 2 or 3 big hip-hop shows a year.
Yes.
And then it's reset till the next year. But if you want a real entertainment experience, it needs to happen consistently. You need to train people almost to appreciate the product, which is hip-hop out here. That's what we're trying to represent. So that's kind of what Deep Fried's main goal was. We really want to represent for the culture and what kind of we grew up living our whole life, which other people here have as well. There's just no way for us to come together behind it.
It's funny because with myself being Nova Scotia born and raised, and being of an age a little bit older than some of the people floating around here, I've seen some different things just myself as a music fan. And obviously, like, my go-to for anyone that listens to the podcast, or I like a lot of the alternative rock stuff. I like some of the heavy stuff.
That's bangs, man.
I mean, there's all the rap and hip hop, and like I had some classical people in the studio apartment there just recently. Like, I like all the genres, but I always followed the alternative rock and some of the heavier bands, and I find that people are, in general, it's probably my circles, right? But people will be like, oh yeah, well that band kind of sounds like this, so I like that, or this band kind of sounds, and then they kind of get their own little bubble of what is acceptable to listen to. But myself, when I listen to stuff from the East Coast that's outside of maybe some of the stuff I know really well, I can't tell the difference between somebody doing what you're doing here versus somebody in BC or in LA.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to break down these borders between Toronto and Halifax.
Yeah.
Because when people think hip hop in Canada, if you ask them to name, like, the average person, you ask them name 5 hip hop acts in Canada, they're all from Toronto.
Yeah.
So we're trying to break that barrier. You know, we want Toronto artists from Toronto to want to come and perform out here because there's a huge fan base out here.
And I always, this is a little shameless of me to be throwing this in here, but a lot of the podcasts when we get into talking about this stuff and where you guys are people that are going to be throwing shows in the future yourselves, I'm a big proponent for the all ages component because I understand
100%.
I understand that booze is paying the bills for a lot of people. And I do realize that outside of maybe our region, there's a lot of places that having liquor doesn't prevent the children from being around.
Yep.
They just handle it different. But where we do it here so segregated, a lot of people have been closing it off from the younger people. But to your point, there is a demographic in the East Coast that absolutely wants that genre, and they're not getting it. So they're out looking for The Weeknd and Drake. And, like, I mean, they're still finding Canadian content, but they maybe are not aware until they're of drinking age that they're surrounded by a community of
100%, and they don't have a chance to be part of that culture. So I mean,
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the things we're working on. We want to provide a safe space for adults and people under the age of 19 to be able to enjoy the music they both love. And it happens. There's no one saying that it can't be done. It's just
Right.
We need to change people's mindset towards, especially people working behind the scenes. You know, it can be done. It can definitely be done in a safe way. In my opinion, it kind of makes it safer because now they're not trying to get into someplace they're not supposed to be. They're where they're supposed to be.
Exactly, the whole thing with idle hands. I know myself, being able to get into shows and stuff at a younger age sometimes probably kept me out of trouble.
I've been there.
I was pretty straight-laced, but like I say, having the availability to do stuff, if I didn't have certain things to do, what would I have done with the time? Who knows?
100%.
And I mean, like, I would love to do a show that's all ages. I find, like, you know, as an artist, you want to perform to all ages groups because I did a show at DAL, which was all ages, and that was one of the funnest shows I've done. And, you know, the support you get from somebody that's like 19 under is like, that's somebody that's going to be with you for life.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody that's like 40 or, you know what I mean? It's like, gonna look at you and be like, okay, cool, and just move on. You know what I mean? But if you give somebody young like an experience that they can't experience somewhere else, I think they're gonna hold on to that. You know?
Everybody sticks with the bands that they listen to growing up. So
Exactly.
like maybe there's some childhood memories, but in general, whatever you're listening to as a teenager, it kind of follows you through your life. And
and even locally, bro. Like when I first moved here, I was 17 when I moved here. I was 17 all alone moved here. And literally solo dolo went to the Gorsebrook at St. Mary's University in Halifax, and there was Neon Dreams playing that night. And I remember, like, at the end of the show, they threw a bunch of stickers into the crowd, and one of my friends like picked up some stickers and, you know, put it in his pocket, and he slapped it on his laptop, and he had that throughout university. You know what I mean? He had that sticker on his laptop throughout university, and that, like, you know, left a mark, you know, because then every time I'd see Neon Dreams, and now I know, like, Adrian from Neon Dreams is such a cool dude, but, you know, just seeing Neon Dreams around growing in Halifax. It's like, that's what you need as an artist. You know what I mean? And on top of that, just to kind of end off the whole, all ages thing, is that, dude, 1,000%, having all ages show and doing it in a way that's not cringy for like adults to, see kids partying and you're like, I don't want to be around these kids, but kind of segmenting it in a way that's like not going to bring that atmosphere and bringing like a solid talent from outside to kind of just like pack the hell out of that audience and make sure, everybody's having a good time. The Grand Oasis does it. Doesn't mean we can't do it other places, So, yeah, man, we're definitely looking into that, and it's crazy, bro. I hear some metal.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say, maybe
jamming.
We might
cut that and go check them out.
I think we might actually wrap it up and check that out. It actually sounds good through the system, so anyone watching it probably didn't hear too much of it. But now I'm curious.
Now I gotta go check it out.
All right,
yeah, man. I've been Shanii22, and this has been.
I'm Trips or Ninad.
Yeah, man. We've been Deep Fried Entertainment. I got a project coming out November 11th called HERmixtape. And I just collaborated with the Wanderers Football Club on a music video dropping December 12th. So, keep your eye out.
Awesome. Check that out. Thanks.
Thank you, bro.